Hi all, welcome to the video lecture of CE 303 Structural Analysis 2. Today in this session we are going to discuss with the module 2 of Structural Analysis 2 which include the slope deflection method. Structural analysis. Structural analysis means the determination of reaction, member force, deformation of structure and the deflection of joints due to the applied load. If you have structure with different loads acting, then you need to find the value of reaction, member forces, deformation or deflection, etc. You need to analyze that structure by using different methods, by identifying the member, whether it is determinate structure or indeterminate structure, and based on the methods available you can analyze that structure with any of the methods. So mainly the structures are classified into determinate structure and indeterminate structure. If a structure is analyzed, if a structure can be analyzed by using the equations of static equilibrium alone are called determinate structure. Example for determinate structures are simply supported beams and cantilever beams. You know that simply supported beams means one end of the beam is hinged and the other end support is a roller support. So the number of unknown reactions in the hinged support is one vertical reaction and one horizontal reaction. That is, there are two unknown reactions for hinged support. Similarly, on the other side, that is roller support, only one unknown reaction, that is only one vertical unknown reactions are. Therefore, the total number of unknown reaction is 2 plus 1, 3. So, degree of static indeterminacy. Degree of static indeterminacy means the difference between the number of unknown reactions minus number of equilibrium equations. So, first, number of equations of equilibrium. So, for a plane problems, for a 2D beam, we know that the number of equations of equilibrium are 3, which are sigma h is equal to 0, that is total summation of the horizontal forces acting on the beam is equal to 0. Similarly, sigma v is equal to 0, that is the total summation of the vertical loads acting on the beam is equal to 0. And the third one is sigma m is equal to 0, that is the summation of the moment about any point is equal to 0. These are the three number of equations of equilibrium. So degree of static indeterminacy, it is the difference between the number of unknown reactions minus number of equations of equilibrium. So for a simply supported beam, the number of unknown reactions are 2 plus 1, 3. And the number of equilibrium equations are again 3. So the degree of static indeterminacy is equal to 0. So for a determinate structure, the degree of static indeterminacy is equal to 0. Similarly, we can say that if a degree of static indeterminacy of a structure is equal to 0, such type of structures are called a determinate structure. Example, simply supported beams and cantilever beams. Next type of structure is indeterminate structures. If the structure cannot be analyzed by using the equations of equilibrium alone are called indeterminate structures. Example for indeterminate structures are continuous beams and fixed beams. Take fixed beam. Fixed beam means both ends of the support, both supports are fixed end. So for a fixed end, there are three unknown reactions. One is vertical reaction, horizontal reaction, and one moment also there. So total number of unknown reactions are 3. So here also total number of unknown reactions 3. So here the degree of static indeterminacy is equal to total number of unknown reactions. Here total number of unknown reaction is 6 minus number of equations of equilibrium 3. So 6 minus 3 is equal to 3. Here the degree of static indeterminacy not equal to 0 and such type of structures are called indeterminate structure. This The different methods to analyze indeterminate structures will cover in this session, in this structural analysis too. Analysis of determinate structures we are already studied in the previous semester structural analysis 1. So here CE 303 structural analysis 2 includes the different methods of analysis for the indeterminate structures. The mainly used different methods of analysis for indeterminate structures are: first one is force method. Force method, it is also known as compatibility method or flexibility method. In this method, the primary unknowns are forces, and it is used when the structure has less static indeterminacy. That is, when the static indeterminacy is less than kinematic indeterminacy, force method is used. Degree of static indeterminacy is less than degree of kinematic indeterminacy. Force method is used to analyze the indeterminate structure. Also, it starts with the equilibrium of forces. The problem starts with the equations of equilibrium. And then to find the unknown forces, compatibility equations are used to determine these unknown forces. The number of compatibility equations needed is equal to the degree of static indeterminacy. Example for force method includes three-moment method, column analogy method. Three-moment method or Clapeyron's theorem is a force method which is used to analyze the indeterminate structures, which we'll study in this structural analysis too. Second method is the displacement method. It is also known as equilibrium method or stiffness method. In this method, the primary unknowns are displacement, and it is preferably used when the structure has less kinematic indeterminacy. That is, if the kinematic indeterminacy is less than static indeterminacy, displacement method is used. Also, it starts with the compatibility deformation equations. Then to find the unknown displacement, joint equilibrium equations are used. Then also the number of equilibrium equations needed is equal to the degree of kinematic indeterminacy. Displacement example for the displacement method, slope deflection method, moment distribution method, Canis method. These methods will discuss in the structural analysis too in various modules. So these are the main difference between force method and displacement method. It is a previous university question. Okay. Next, in this session, we are discussing about the slope deflection method. That is the second module of CE 303 structural analysis 2. In slope deflection method, first we will discuss about what is slope deflection method, what are the assumptions used in the slope deflection method, sign conventions in the slope deflection method. Then analysis, application of the slope deflection method, that is the analysis of the continuous beams, beams with the overhangs which carries different type of loads. Then the analysis of rigid frames with sway and without sway. Sway means the lateral movement of the frame with respect to the support. Also, the settlement effect, when the support is settled by an amount delta, what will be the change and how we'll calculate the deflection moment using this method also we'll discuss in this slope deflection method. First, condense. It includes first introduction, that is the basic idea of slope deflection method and the assumption in the slope deflection method. Third one, sign convention used in this method. Then fourth one, what is the slope deflection equation. Then fifth one is the application of slope deflection method. Sixth, procedure, that is the step to be followed for this method. Then seventh one, example, that is a problem which will explain about the procedure, about the analysis of indeterminate structure by using this method, slope deflection method. The first, introduction. A structural slope deflection method is a structural analysis method, that is a displacement method of structural analysis, which is used to analyze the indeterminate beams and frames, which is introduced in 1914 by George A. Manning. This method was later replaced by moment distribution method, which is more advanced and useful to study this separately. Moment distribution method is a modified form of slope deflection method, which is also a displacement method. Then this method is applicable to all types of statically indeterminate beams and frames, and in this method we solve for unknown joint rotations which are expressed in terms of the applied loads and the bending moments. So we know that for displacement method of analysis, the unknowns are the displacement, that is here the unknown displacement is unknown rotations. So for finding the unknown rotation which are expressed, we use joint equilibrium equations, then which are expressed in terms of applied loads and bending moments. Then in this method, the deflection due to shear and axial stresses are not considered as the effects are small. This is one of the main assumption in the slope deflection method. The next one is the assumptions used in the slope deflection methods. This method is based on the following simplified assumptions. First one, all the joints of the frames are rigid. The first figure, figure A, it is a rigid jointed frame before deformation. The member AB and AC is jointed. Then the angle between the member AC and AB is theta. Then figure B shows that rigid joint after the deformation, that is after applying loads, the member gets deformed. And this is B, this is A, and this is C. So after applying loads, the member gets deformed to new shape, that is the point B changes to B dash and the point C changes to C dash. The angle between AC and AB is theta. From this first figure, we can see that the angle between AC and AB is theta. After the deformation, the angle between AC dash and AB dash, that is B dash and C dash, the new position of the member, that is the angle between the AC dash and AB dash will be sine theta. That is all the joints in this frame are considered to be rigid jointed. This is the first assumption. Then next, second one is the distortion due to axial deformations are neglected. And consider a frame ABCD. ABCD is this ABCD is the initial stage before applying load. Then after applying load, the frame will get deformed to the new shape, that is AB dash C dash D. This is the new deformed shape AB dash C dash D. So there is a lateral deformation of the member BC occurs, that is this is the delta is the deformation, lateral deformation, which is known as sway. Sway is the lateral deformation occurs on the frames. So here the member BC is changed to new position B dash C dash. The member BC will be equal to B dash C dash. There is no axial deformation. Otherwise, the axial deformation will be very small and hence it is neglected. That is, B dash will be is equal to C dash will be is equal to delta. There is no change. B dash is equal to C dash is equal to delta because the axial deformation is small and it can be neglected. Third assumption is shear deformation are also neglected. These are the main three assumptions which are used in the slope deflection method. Then sign conventions. First sign convention about the moments. The clockwise n moments are taken as positive and anti-clockwise n moments are taken as negative. So consider a frame ABCD here. The member B joint B subjected to 2 and subjected to moment 20 kilonewton meter. The member BA, that is the moment about the final moment about the member BA is equal to value is 20 kilonewton meter. And the direction. What about the direction? Here the moment is clockwise direction. So the clockwise n moments are taken as positive. So MBA is moment about the member BA is positive plus 20 kilonewton meter. Similarly, when we take member BC, moment about the member, final moment about the member BC is equal to 20 kilonewton meter. Direction. The direction shown in the figure is anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise moment is acting along the member BC. So anti-clockwise n moments are negative. So here MBC is minus 20 kilonewton meter. Next is sign convention about the rotations. Here also the clockwise rotations are taken as positive and anti-clockwise rotations are negative. The figure shows the sign convention for rotations. Here a continuous beam ABC is given and after the application of different loads the member gets deformed to a new shape. Okay, so here theta is the slope of the deformed shape. So this is the initial member AB. After applying loads, the member gets deformed to new shape. This is member AB before applying load, before getting deformation. After applying the load, the member AB gets deformed to new shape. This is the deformed shape of the member AB. So theta 1 is the angle slope of this deformed shape. So the angle, the theta 1, that is the slope is measured from the tangent. This is the tangent drawn to measure the slope. So the slope is measured from the tangent to the initial position of the beam. So here the slope is measured from the tangent to the initial position. So theta 1 is measured from this tangent to the initial position. That is the direction is anti-clockwise direction. Okay, anti-clockwise direction are negative. Anti-clockwise rotations are negative. So theta 1 is negative. Similarly, theta 2, the theta 2 is measured from the tangent. That is tangent to the initial position, the measured from tangent to initial position. Therefore, theta 2 is clockwise. Clockwise moments rotations are positive. So theta 2 is positive. Similarly, considering the member BC, theta 3, that is it measured from the tangent to the initial position. This is clockwise. Clockwise is positive, that is theta 3 is positive. Similarly, theta 4 is measured from the tangent to the initial position. So when measured from tangent to initial position, the direction is anti-clockwise. So theta 4 is and negative. Anti-clockwise rotations are negative. This is the sign convention for rotations. Next one, sign convention for settlement. Settlement delta is positive if the right side support is below the left side support. Similarly, settlement delta is negative if the left side support is below the right side support. That means Settlement means if we consider a continuous beam ABC, here we can see that the support B is just below the support A and C by an amount delta. That is that is the support B is settled by amount delta. That is that there is the support A, B and C are not the same level. B is just below the support A and C. So this is known as settlement. So this settlement delta is taken as positive if right hand side support is below the left hand side support. If we consider the span AB, if we consider the span AB, that is A is the left support and B is the right side support. In this case, the right side support, that is B is below the support A. B is below the support A. So here the right side support is below the left side support. If the right side support is below the left side support, delta is positive. Similarly, when we consider the span BC, when we consider the spans BC, B is left side support and C is the right side support. So here the left side support is below the right side support. If the left side support is below the right side support, delta is negative. This is the sign convention for settlement. Okay. Next is slope deflection equations. Consider an continuous beam AB. And continuous beam AB which are subjected to different types of loads, then the general slope deflection equation is MAB is equal to M of AB plus 2EI by L into 2 theta A plus theta B minus 3 delta by L. Consider a span AB of a continuous beam which are subjected to different types of loads. Then the member final moment along the member AB. This is the left side support and this is the right side support. So when the final moment of the member AB, that is moving from left to the right. So MAB is equal to M of AB plus 2EI by L into 2 theta A plus theta B minus 3 delta by L. Similarly, final moment of the member BA, that is right to left. MBA is equal to M of BA plus 2 EI by L into theta A plus 2 theta B minus 3 delta by L. Okay, this is the general slope deflection equation. You need to study these equations to solve problems using slope deflection method. So where MAB and MBA are the final moments of the member AB and BA respectively. Then next term is M of AB and M of BA. M of AB and M of BA are the fixed moments at A and B respectively due to the given loading. Fixed moments means the consider that beam, that member as a fixed beam. The support, both the support considered as a fixed and the moment at this fixed end due to the applied loads is known as fixed end moments. Then next term theta A and theta B. Theta A and theta B are the slopes or rotation at the support A and B respectively. Third term delta. Delta I already discussed. Sinking of the support, that is the settlement of the support A with respect to B. The difference between the support A and B. So first we need to know the different equations for the fixed moment for the different loading cases. So first one is the fixed moment when the concentrated load W is acting on the central position. That is here the central concentrated load W is acting and the total span is L given as L. So first M of AB, that is both end is fixed and the moment corresponding to A and B. This is left support is A and the right support is B. So M of AB means fixed moment along the member AB. That is this is the M of AB which is anti-clockwise direction. So anti-clockwise moments are taken as negative. So here minus WL by 8. M of AB is minus WL by 8. Note that it is anti-clockwise, hence here negative. Similarly, M of BA is, the direction is clockwise direction. So only the sign changes. The minus WL by 8 to plus WL by 8. M of BA is plus WL by 8 since the load is symmetrical. Next, second case is the fixed beam is subjected to uniformly distributed load throughout the span. Therefore, M of AB, here M of AB is anti-clockwise, hence minus WL square by 12, and M of BA is direction is clockwise plus WL square by 12. Next, a concentrated load is acting unsymmetrically. That is, a concentrated load is acting at a distance A from the support A and B from support B. So the M of AB, the fixed moment at the joint A, is minus WAB square by L square, and M of BA plus WAB square by L square. Similarly, fourth case is a uniformly distributed load is acting at a distance A. So M of AB is equal to minus WA into 12L square into 6L square minus 8AL plus 3A square, and M of BA, which is clockwise, that is positive, WA square by 12L square into 4L square minus 3A. Next, fifth case is a uniformly varying load is acting with zero load at the support A and the maximum load W at the support B. So here M of AB is equal to minus WL square by 30 and M of B is equal to plus WL square by 20. Sixth case is a moment, a positive moment, clockwise moment is acting at the center of the span. Therefore, here both M of AB and M of BA are positive and the value is M by 4. Similarly, seventh case is a moment is acting at a distance of A from the left side, that is A from support A and B from support B. So the fixed moment at M of AB is equal to MB by L square into 3A minus L, and M of BA is MA by L square into 3B minus L. Here both the M of AB and M of BA are positive values.
So next one is the application of slope deflection method. The slope deflection method can be used to analyze the indeterminate structures such as continuous beams. The continuous beams can be easily analyzed by using these slope deflection methods. Also, the slope deflection method can be used to the frames without side sway and also frames with side sway. Side sway means due to the application of loads, the lateral deformation of the frames may occur. It is known as side sway. So first, for the analysis of the frame, firstly we need to identify whether the frame is with sway or without sway. There are mainly 7 conditions are there to check whether the frame is frame without sway or frame with sway. So first we need to check that conditions to identify the frame. Then based on this we can analyze the frames. So first we move to continuous beam, application of slope deflection method in continuous beam. So a main procedure includes in the analysis of slope deflection method in the continuous beam. The procedure is as follows. First one, determine the fixed moments at the end of each span due to applied loads acting on the span by considering each span as a fixed end. Assign plus or negative sign with respect to sign convention. So in slope deflection method, first step is the determination of the fixed moments. I already discussed about the different equations for the different load conditions of different load conditions. What is the fixed moment equations in the previous slide. So first step is the determination of the fixed moments. Then if the left hand side fixed end moment is negative sign and right hand side fixed end moment is positive sign, then assign based on that assign plus or minus signs. Second step is then express all the end moments, all the final moments in terms of this fixed end moments and the joint rotation by using slope deflection equation. So second step is the slope deflection equation. Express all the members of the beam in terms of these fixed end moments and the joint rotations by using slope deflection equation. Then third step is the establish the simultaneous equation with the joint rotations as the unknowns by applying the condition that sum of the end moments acting on the ends of the two members meeting at a joint should be equal to 0. This is the joint equilibrium equation. We know that when we consider a joint, that is a joint means more than two members meeting at a point, that is joint. So when we consider a joint, then all the moments acting at the joint, all the end moments, summation of all the end moments acting on that joint should be equal to 0. This is the joint equilibrium equation. This is the third step, establish all simultaneous joint equilibrium equations. Then fourth one, then solve for this unknown joint rotation. By solving this equation, we will get the value of unknown joint rotation. Then substitute back this unknown rotations in the slope deflection equation, that is in the step 2, and then compute the final end moments. Then determine the all reactions and draw shear force diagram and bending moment diagram. Also sketch the elastic curve. Elastic curve means the deformed shape of the beam due to the applied loads. These are the main steps